Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Laying It Out. I'm your host, Scotti Dempsey.
I'm Chelsea Pockets.
And today we've got quite a roster, shall we say, of things we're going to talk about. Feels like it's been a long time since we last chatted, but I guess
it's only been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks. And also, 2 jackhammer interruptions later, courtesy of my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
We can finally record.
We were originally going to plan on Wednesday. Scotti and I were both working from home. But then literally, jackhammer was outside her apartment all day, except for like 30 minutes. You texted me, you're like, it stopped, we can hop on. And then we hopped on. We're like, all right, we have our plan. Let's go hit record. Boom, back again. And then
I was back.
Of course, Wednesday night, I had Frisbee in Bethlehem, so I had to drive an hour, and I texted her, like, when I got home, I'm like, I'm too tired to record. It was 10:30. I still hadn't showered. So, X on that. Then Thursday, Scotti was back in the office.
Yeah, I went to work in person. Yeah, I didn't really have that much to do. I went to the office because we had planned a happy hour with some of the new hires that occurred after. Of course, I left the office around 5:30. Some people had to work until 6-ish. I didn't really have that much to do anyway, so I did close myself in a conference room to watch TikToks for a little bit. That was fun. But aside from that, then we got happy hour, and I got home at like 9. So I went to happy hour
at like 9:30. And she texted me, and I'm like, I'm tired. I go to bed at 10 o'clock, and I had a late night.
I went like directly to bed too. So, so here we are. It's Friday.
We almost did a drunk episode because Scotti was going to happy hour, and I texted her. I was like, "Oh, no worries. I'll drink beforehand too, and then we could do a drunk episode together." But like, we both fell asleep at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So here we are on Friday. Almost failed again with the jackhammer, but we're doing post-work Friday podcast.
Yes.
Sorry,
this is
Lindsay,
like
for all the delays.
Work happy hour. Yes. Anyway, so all those fun updates aside, fall is coming.
Fall is here, baby.
It's not cold enough yet for me to call it fall. It is still like 90 degrees in the city every day. But pumpkin spice lattes are back.
Yeah, I have to ask, are you a pumpkin spice latte gal, or are you a cold cream cold brew? Because Starbucks has both of those. And then I think they also have a third drink that they've introduced this year, which is like some apple crisp macchiato.
I'm definitely pumpkin spice. I do prefer hot coffee. Like, it wakes me up more. Latte. I don't really like the cream that they're trying to do.
I love the pumpkin cold foam or whatever it's called. I had it, I think, on Wednesday when we were originally supposed to talk about this, and I got really excited. Today, I had less of a good fall beverage. I went to Wawa and got their pumpkin spice coffee, which was okay. It mostly just smelled like pumpkin spice. Didn't really taste it. Bless you, Scotti, who just muted.
Thank you. Yes. I've always liked Wawa coffee, but that's also because I make my coffee into like a milkshake. I just pour sugar into it.
Oh, that's a little gross. No, I don't hate Wawa coffee. I'm a big lover of Wawa, but it's no fancy Starbucks that I treat myself to too often.
Yes, I deserve a little treat every day. My little treat. So I'm actually more of a Dunkin', well, I was more of a Dunkin' Donuts girl, but I have been repeatedly scorned by Dunkin' since I moved to the city. I, could make coffee in my apartment, or I could walk up the block to the Dunkin' and get, the shittiest iced coffee I have ever had. Repeatedly I pay $3 for them to give me a cup of milk with ice in it. I was like, yeah, so I always get a medium caramel iced coffee with cream and sugar. That's my go-to Dunkin' order. And then if I'm going to get a hot, I just get the same thing, but hot. And this man, I can tweet it. I put it on my Snap story. This man gave me like a cup of milk. It tasted like milk. Like it tasted like sugary milk. I like drank it because I paid for it, and it didn't really give me any like coffee effects. But I think I probably got it at like 3 p.m. because that's what I do. It was awful. But I keep trying to give Dunkin' the benefit of the doubt because I like their coffee when they actually give it to me more than I like Starbucks. Like Starbucks tastes kind of burned to me.
Shots fired.
And it's like, yes, I will shoot shots at Starbucks, but also it's a little bit cheaper and it's just easier for me to order something because at Starbucks I'm like, I'm gonna sound like a boomer, but like I'm like, yo, can I get like a medium hot coffee? And they're like, did you mean a grande frappuccino cold brew? Wahoo! And I'm like,
frappuccino cold brew?
No. Dude, I don't know. All like drinks are too specialized, and they're like, that will be $7. And I'm
it is expensive.
Okay, so expensive.
I use the Starbucks reward system, so every time you spend money, you get stars towards your next purchase, which just digs you further into the Starbucks hole. But it's a good occasional treat. But yeah, I don't go crazy. I just get a cold brew with some pumps of whatever flavoring.
So I've been using the Dunkin' rewards, but and so this is where my story from Thursday comes in. Oh my god, so I'm a mess. I went to the office on Tuesday, and I live about 20 blocks from the office, depending on like how you measure it. And so it's a really easy like direct shot. I'm like one avenue over. And it's a pretty easy walk, you know. I'm like, oh, I can get my steps in the morning. I don't need to work out after. And so on Tuesday, I walked to the office and I was like, I don't need to wear different shoes. Rookie mistake. Absolute rookie mistake. Wore my like cute little office flats to walk 20 blocks. And I got like insane blisters on like the balls of my feet and on my heels. And they really hurt. They still really hurt. So I like got new like little like cute little white sneakers to wear in the office, and they're really cute and I'm really excited about them. I spent a little bit too much money on them, but I know my like dad listens to this podcast and all I've done is talk about how much money I spent. But like, hey, I'm calling it startup costs for me being a functioning professional. So I got new shoes and I decided on Thursday that I was going to take the subway. So I took the subway to Grand Central because my office is like a block or two from Grand Central. And I was like, I can order a pumpkin spice latte from Dunkin' for online pickup. That's like, it's on the block next to my office. So I walked out of Grand Central and I walked to Dunkin'. I walked in, I grabbed my pumpkin spice latte with almond milk, which we'll get to because I told you about this. And then I like walked to the office and like buzzed myself in. And I was like, oh, look at me. Like, I'm so professional. I'm like getting my coffee. I'll have to wait in line. I'm walking in the door at like exactly 9 a.m. And I like have some like friends in the office. So I get to like chit chat with them, and then I also have like absolutely nothing to do work wise yet. Everyone's like, enjoy it while you can, and I was like, I should have stayed home. But yeah, I sit down with my pumpkin spice latte with almond milk from Dunkin', and once again, Dunkin' has scorned me, and it's terrible.
Was it mostly almond milk?
No. I like almond milk. I make smoothies with almond milk. I usually use it as creamer in my coffee when I make coffee at home. This tasted straight up just like burned coffee. It was so bad. And like I had asked for sugar in it. There was no sugar in it. Like, I'm sure that almond milk is not the right thing to put in a latte anyway, because you have to put foamed milk, steamed milk or whatever. I don't think you can really do that with almond milk. But then two of the girls in the office that were with me, they both had Starbucks, and I was like, I feel like I may need to convert.
Yeah, New York City kind of feels like Starbucks vibes, so.
Yeah, Boston is the Dunkin' capital of the world, and like, I've still been scorned by Dunkin' in Boston. Like, either I need to lower my standards or just get over myself. Or make coffee at home.
Make coffee at home. That's what I usually do. All right. We've talked about coffee for almost 10 minutes now. So I'm going to move the conversation along because we are an Ultimate Frisbee podcast. The reason we brought up all of these coffees is we're like, oh, it's fall. College Ultimate is, well, it's not really fall. It's still August, but it's almost fall. College Ultimate is around the corner. I signed up for Fall League. But I'm dying to know, Scotti, are you going to be playing Ultimate in the fall?
That's a loaded question. I have no idea. Probably not.
I'm pulling all the weight.
I haven't even thought about it. I know you are. I feel so bad. I'm like, do we need to buy Pockets a new co-host? Yes.
I don't think we can make it. I mentioned I moved 2 months ago or a month ago or whatever it was. My roommate plays for AMP. It could just be me and him. Laying it out podcast. No.
Maybe we'll get him on as a guest at some point. But
yes, that would be an ideal guest.
I'm planning on going to the tournament in New York City that's in Van Cortlandt Park this weekend to watch the team that I tried out for play. So hopefully the weather holds up because it says 80% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, which is not good frisbee playing weather. And I had tentative plans on Sunday with one of my friends, so I don't know. But yeah, it's just tough. Like, it's so hard to get to frisbee. And it's also interesting just having how much you have to prioritize it. Like, even how much you've prioritized it and like this and that. And you've actually been working for a year, and I'm trying to get staffed on a project, and they were like, it's probably going to be 60 hours a week. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I need to get there. So, I love to work.
Once you're more settled in, maybe look for a fall league. Once you're more settled in, we'll have a whole episode about a New York City businesswoman balances her career and frisbee.
Yeah. And I do think it would be easier if I made some friends through the team that I tried out for, and we went out to dinner once, and then we went out and went to the bar and watched The Bachelorette one night, and they texted me that they're like, someone at practice was talking about your podcast, and I was like, ooh. So I definitely want to go. It's not like I don't have frisbee friends in the city, but if I had someone to drag me out, that might work better. Or that I knew I was going to see it pick up.
This is a call out to New York City Ultimate players. Please physically drag Scotti to the fields. She really doesn't weigh that much. I could probably pick her up if I tried.
You have picked me up.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah.
Pat's going to text me after this and be like...
He listens to some of it, at least. We've confirmed that, so there we go. We have listeners out there. Keith definitely listens. Keith followed me on TikTok.
Oh, that's horrifying. That feels like your dad. Like, if your dad found you on TikTok.
It's better than that.
My dad does text me about this podcast, and it's like, I know that you use self-deprecating humor as humor, but he's like, but we're really proud of you, and that you're doing really well. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I was like, oh no, I'm making too many jokes at my own expense.
At least, oh my god, I had a similar situation freshman year of college. So my entire high school experience, I was the weird girl that spent too much time on Tumblr, and that's basically all you need to know about my personality. But I made a lot of self-deprecating jokes because that's kind of the internet culture, especially on that little corner of the internet. And I brought that humor with me to college and the first few Ultimate practices, and I used it a lot because I was very uncomfortable making new friends. And the team captains just kind of had to come up to me like, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Are you adjusting to college well? And it was very sweet of them, but also I was like, I'm fine, honestly. I just don't know how to make new friends. So this is my coping mechanism.
Yes, making new friends is hard. So,
well, speaking
in that
of
vein, college Ultimate, freshman
year of college, sophomore year of college for people that missed their freshman year because of COVID, we're going to be getting into after our break, kind of just some tips One, for creating a welcoming environment for rookies and the team and coming back, and then also some tips for any freshmen. I don't know how many high school Ultimate players that are now like coming into college we have as listeners, but if you're out there, or if you stumble upon this in a few years and you're coming into the college scene, we have a little bit of advice for you. But yeah, yes. After the break, we'll come back with that.
Yeah, so stick around.
All right, well, welcome back, listeners. Scotti, hello. Haven't seen you in a while.
Hello.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about college ultimate because that's right around the corner, and you and I still like to pretend that we're in college. It feels like it sometimes.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, we wanted to offer some advice because this is definitely going to be a interesting fall. Some teams are going to have alumni joining. Most teams are just going to be like the few remnants of the junior and senior class that still remain. It's going to be led by people that have really never captained a team before, unless like they were lucky enough to play in high school and captain that team or any other situation. So we just kind of wanted to talk about like what we think as old, washed up, no longer college students, what we think we would do, kind of like our recruiting tips for the season. The one thing that I always like that a certain school, can we say it? Can we say Lehigh?
Why not? We've said it the whole time, like every other episode.
But now we're talking about other things. But the one thing I always liked that Lehigh did, at least later on in the years, like we would not invite rookies to after hours social events until like after at least the first week of practice. And I found like, because after the first week, you're dwindling out all the people that like don't understand what ultimate frisbee is. And I don't mean like people that have never played before, but people that think we're just like throwing a disc around and you couldn't come up in your jeans or something. Because, you know, there's always that like one kid that shows up in jeans and flip-flops for some reason.
Yeah, even though we say to bring, dress to run.
Yeah, but no, I think it's always good to like limit that because then you start weeding out people that, I don't know, aren't really interested in the sport. I always say we're a sports team first, obviously. But then like 2, you're just kind of showing that the team is actually a sports team and not just a drinking team, which some people in the past that are older than me may have thought it was.
Yeah, and I think even like the lines got blurred as like a lot of the seniors got kind of like washed up and like bored of playing a competitive sport. So it is good to like maintain that. And also I think in terms of just like general team liability, like we only really have each other, and like partying's a part of college. Like everyone's gonna, not everyone, that's a broad statement, but like you can drink if like you can find it if you want to find it. And so I think it's like good, especially as a freshman, to like take it easy, to figure it out, and also like to protect yourself and your team, to keep everyone safe. That's my thinking.
Drinking less never hurt anyone. So that's always, and also like in that grand scheme of things, I always found that we got the strongest or like the biggest class of women whenever we had like non-alcohol focused events in the first few weeks. So whether that was like movie nights, ice cream events, you could do like a picnic. You could go out and just be like, oh, like we're going to play lawn games and do like can jam, tossing, spike ball's a big one. We did it. This was at the end of the year, so we had already recruited and done our stuff, but we did a spiked ball tournament for the girls team, and that was a lot of fun. And then the one idea actually that the Lehigh team did during COVID, I don't know what other schools call it, but Lehigh always calls it like the after dark, which is the school organized events for like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, which are alcohol free. They did a disc decorating event, which I think is like a really cool like 1, social activity, and 2, recruiting event. And for people that don't know, we talked about it on the episode with Sponge, but Lehigh has a tradition of every senior, when they graduate, they get a disc decorated with their like, I don't know, whatever their spirit is. So Scotti did mine. She drew a big pocket in red, white, and blue Captain America colors, and like put a bunch of stuff I like on it, like the Trailblazers and soda, because I'm so cool. I do love soda too much. But I thought that's like probably like an ideal recruiting event, because you're getting people that are semi-interested in Frisbee in general, and then doing this like fun social event. And every college freshman wants free stuff.
Oh, yes. And also love free stuff. And also, like, I feel like it'd be so fun to like sit across a table from some people with just some like markers and like
doodle.
It's so easy to talk to people like that. And, like, doodle, be creative. Like, there's no expectation to be really good. Like, have your decoration be really good, and then like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter anyway. You know, no one's gonna judge you for your artistic skills.
Also, if you need some bonus points with the school, which we always try and do by like volunteering at varsity events, like hosting an event like that is always like hey, look at this. Look at the Frisbee team. They're doing stuff. They're doing good. They aren't the frats and sororities that are ruining college reputations.
Yes, as we've talked about it at length, not really to a degree. I feel like I've talked about it a lot. I actually, some of the other new hires at my company went to Lehigh also, but like we didn't know each other because like they were in Greek life, but then they also didn't know each other because they were in different houses within Greek life, and like we just got to talk about like how much we kind of resented the fact that Greek life divided us so much. So that was kind of cool. That like I felt really good about that. It was like cool to meet these people that were all like that wanted to get to know other people. So yeah, it was that was good.
Oh,
but
that's nice.
Off topic.
No, we're an anti-frat podcast. Sorry to anyone.
Yeah,
we're anti-frat, pro Frisbee on this podcast. But yeah, besides like social events and stuff for recruiting, like that's obviously a big part of the recruiting. But I think another aspect is when you're actually at practice is just not pressuring the rookies to feel like this is something they have to commit to immediately. I remember when I joined, I didn't know I wanted to do Frisbee for a full semester. Like I went through the fall and I was kind of like, oh, like this is where I found myself. There's some freshmen that I really like on the team, but I don't know if this is what I want to do yet. But I always felt a little bit bad whenever I had to miss a practice because I was like, oh, the captains, like they always get so stressed when people don't show up, blah, 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 blah. And I know we had like a really small team at the time, but I think making it so that rookies feel like, oh, they're not pressured to come to everything. Because especially this year, there's going to be freshmen and sophomores that have never been to college before. And they're going to want to try so many things because like it's finally opening up. They can do all these social events again. And if they have to commit to something that they've never tried before, they're not going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
So
build your whole personality around it. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I also think like upperclassmen, especially in the case of Lehigh, but I'm sure like other schools, especially like really big ones where the campuses are like huge and it's kind of hard to walk around all the time, like make it as easy as possible to get to practice, to like offer rides, to get freshmen both and like have them feel comfortable. I mean, this is something that I struggle with all the time. It's like asking other people that I don't know really that well for help, but it was like such a major turnoff when I was on like the Lehigh equestrian team is we needed to coordinate like driving and cars to get to riding lessons for practices. And like the upperclassmen girls that had cars were like not very communicative about like giving rides. And it was so hard for me to go and like reach out that is one of the things that ultimately turned me off of being on the equestrian team at school. And it was certainly a lot easier when I joined Frisbee as a sophomore because like I knew people with cars, like they were like willing to they're like, okay, yeah, I will like make sure that you have a spot in my car to drive you. And that helped me out a lot when I joined the team, and I was really, really bad. But skills aside, because you will get better if you practice and you want to get better.
Yeah, one of the things that I wrote down as tips for like new freshmen and sophomores, don't be afraid to make mistakes on the field because you will make so many. You're going to fuck up.
So many. And even if, it's tough, I feel like, because upperclassmen always get so excited when there's like a new rookie that's like showing a lot of potential and like they already are like really athletic and they have skills and like they can throw. And it's like, oh wow, you can throw a flick before you join the team? Like, wow, you're going to be a standout star. And then I feel like it kind of pushes them up, and then maybe later down the line when they have to refine their skills, they're a little bit less like accepting of new information. Like, I'm so guilty of
like,
this.
This is actually a good thing to bring up. I think there's a lot of things. One, like when you uphold, like it's good to like, we're a sports team, we're going to be competitive. So it's good to like congratulate the people on your team that are doing really well. But I think in the very beginning, when you have like that one rookie that's doing really good, or a handful, and then you have a bunch of people that are really struggling because like throwing a disc is not something that you normally do. Or we have some people that join that just aren't as athletic, but they want to try a sport for the first time because they're in college and they're trying something new. That can kind of make like the people that have never done this before feel a little alienated, and maybe like put some social pressure between the new incoming class. And so I think it's good to definitely congratulate those like breakout rookies, but also like try and balance it and make sure you're not going overboard.
Yeah. And for the rookies, ask a lot of questions also, like not just ask about like, or don't just be afraid to make or miss mistakes. I think we made that point, but like ask questions and be like, oh, okay, so this clearly isn't working. Like, I know that I've like definitely been kind of like that. It's like, oh man, like you're not getting it, but you're like kind of still acting arrogant. Like, I have no idea what's going on in your head that like you can do it. Just like you can ask, or upperclassmen offer advice. And it is hard to like pull someone aside and be like, hey, you're doing this wrong, especially because you don't know how they're going to take it. But it is a give and take, like learning. And it's so hard to teach new people things that like you might not be 100% confident at yourself.
No, that's the other struggle of college ultimate is you have people that have been playing for a year trying to teach someone that's never played at all, and that sucks sometimes. But yeah. I was also just thinking like having vets do like one-on-ones, whatever, with rookies, instead of just like being like, hey, this is how you throw a flick. If they're like currently trying to practice and throwing it, being like, hey, do you want help? Or can I offer you advice? Yeah. Because there's definitely some people, like these are going to be completely new people. You have no idea what their personalities are like. There are going to be some people that are just so, I don't know if stubborn is the right word, or just not accepting of help. They're just going to want to like push through and do it on their own. And they're going to get frustrated. There's going to be so many rookies that get frustrated. Or not even just so many, but it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Dude, I've been seeing like on Instagram stories, you know, people like being back on campus and campus being in person. And as much as I'm like, oh, I'm glad to like not be at school anymore and like be making money, and like after the hour of 5 o'clock, I'm not like bound to do anything. I like there's no work to be done. Like I felt like at school I was always like, there's definitely more work I could be doing right now, but I'm not doing it. Like I feel so lazy, and like there's none of that guilt. But on the other hand, like I miss the euphoria of the first week of school. I was saying this to my roommates, like the only thing better than the Scholastic Book Fair in the fall, like the only thing better than the Scholastic Book Fair in the fall is the first week of college. Week. Like coming back, silly week, like seeing all your friends, you've got no work, like classes are a joke, like you feel so academic, you're like, yes, I'm going to use my brain and learn. And then I'm also gonna like party all night with my friends. And then like, And then like you're meeting your rookies. I saw that like our team specifically it had like a huge like throwing on like the green
The quad.
event. It looked like they had
we don't have a quad because Lehigh is built on top of a hill.
Yeah, there's no flat surfaces. But like it looked like there were like so many girls, which is so exciting because that means we have 2 years of recruiting to do. And I do feel for the current sophomores, I feel like it's going to be really hard to get involved because, first of all, you are a year behind in making friends, and then you feel like you've got a limited amount of time at school. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm missing it right now.
No, I sometimes miss it, and then I remember how much college sucks. Like, there's definitely moments, and I would not give up what I got to experience. But like you said, the feeling of like I could always be doing something, like lingering in the back of your mind, like what assignment am I missing right now? Like it's like Thursday, 11 p.m. You're like 5 beers in, and you're like, fuck, what am I forgetting right now? Because I definitely didn't do something.
Yeah.
And it's moments like those where I look back and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I graduated and I'm 2 years away from that and I'm living my life. It's great.
Yeah, I get to do the things I want to do and I don't need to, like, I can do stuff by myself too. That's great. I don't, like, that's like a whole maturity thing. It's me not having, like, I can't do anything by myself. Like, does anybody want to go do this, like, weird lame thing with me? And it's like, no, you can go grocery shopping.
Remember the stress of like eating alone in the dining hall?
Oh my God.
Any college students out there listening, like you can eat alone. Nobody gives a shit. And sometimes it's even better to eat alone because then you can actually like sit, digest your food and get out of there rather than spending an hour in the dining hall for lunch.
Or like trying to find a place to sit with like your massive people that you've scraped together, and then of course like the dining hall table, this is a Lehigh specific thing of course, but like the tables aren't made for 6, like a group of 6, like then you're trying to cram 6 people into a booth and it's this and it's that and it's like so
all right, that was a tangent. A lot of different things.
That is a tangent.
But where were we going? Oh yeah, don't pressure the rookies. And then I think the other thing that even I don't have the answer for. And actually, like, I am going to be coaching a college women's team this semester or this year, which I'm excited about.
That's so exciting.
But one thing that the team is kind of like trying to grasp with, and I think the captains know which way they're leaning, is are they going to do A, B, or X, Y in the fall? Because I think a lot of teams, at least like smaller ones, they're going to do like an X, Y and kind of let all the rookies learn and stuff, try and give vets more like leadership on the field, and then not really have a competitive season. But there's fall nationals this year, and like there's a chance. I
forgot about that.
Some people are going to want to be competitive. They haven't gotten to play with their college team in so long, and they're going to want to go up and ball out, especially if they have alumni coming back. My team doesn't, or the team I'm coaching with doesn't have alumni coming back. So that kind of helps with the decision. So I think they're going to go X, Y, and like just focus on that really big rookie class. Because the other thing, like you want to be competitive, but if you don't get those freshmen and sophomores to join your team, are you going to have a program next year?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other, like, I'm glad I'm not having to be a captain this semester and have to tackle that decision, because that's tough.
Definitely, like any college captains or anyone that's in college and how you're going about recruiting, tell us how it's going. I'm so curious, and like I would love to offer any more specific advice if I have it, but like there's everyone's going through the same thing, and it's like I can't imagine like how hard it is. It's crazy how much this like pandemic has rocked everyone's world, and like how much it's changed like everyone's like entire life experience.
At least on like social media, I've seen a few college teams like post about social events. Like you said, you saw Lehigh girls throwing on the lawn. Like they're doing other stuff too, other colleges as well. So I think they've got the vibe of their recruiting. It's just kind of gonna be interesting how they lead practices.
Yeah.
And then one more tip for our freshmen. This is very Lehigh specific, and Scotti and I could definitely relate to this. If your team does nicknames, well, a lot of advice on nicknames. One, if you're like Scotti, there might be some people that have a normal name as their nickname, so don't get confused. I remember that rocked my shit for a few months where when I was a freshman, we had people like named Nitro and Peeps, but then we also had like people named like Lily, and I'm like, Lily's not your real name? And my entire world crumbled because I was like, I can't find her on social media. Oh my God. And I was so confused. But yeah, so people, their name might not be their real name, and be prepared to have your life just crumble before you. But then also, if your team does nicknames, do not ask about it. Do not ask anything about it, because then you're going to get a shit nickname. And I have a story about that.
Yeah. Like, there will definitely be, like, upperclassmen, or if you're me, like, in the case of, like, me before I was on the team, some upperclassman's silly friend that kind of, like, will ruin it a little bit for you. But, like, they'll tell you. You don't need to be annoying and ask because of Pocket's story.
Don't ask. So I never knew this person, and I'm also going to change their name slightly for the sake of the story. They were a college player many eons ago, and we're going to call them Tom Smith for the sake of the story. But Tom Smith was always like, yo, when are we getting named? When are we getting named? Like, let me know. And all the vets were like, yo, this kid's annoying. Let's name him Tom Smith Jones. And that was basically, like, they combined his real first and last name, put it into his, like, first, like, Frisbee name, and then added Jones at the end, or whatever, like, basic ass last name. So that's my little veteran name story.
But also, like, don't put so much weight in nicknames. Yeah. Like, they're gonna happen. Like, Lehigh, everyone gets a nickname. Not all schools, everyone gets a nickname. Like, one of my college friends, he played for SUNY Stony Brook. He never got a nickname, but then his buddy was named Noodle, and, like, they never offered any explanation why. Like, he just was Noodle. So, like, some teams it's kind of random.
Some colleges
but, like,
literally do, like, the scene from Animal House where they just assign a random shit name, or they'll be like, all right, whatever kid runs over that hill first, his name's gonna be Brick. And that's it. And there's no other explanation.
Or if you do something really silly. Yeah. I just, like, don't put so much weight into it. Because I remember, like, I joined the team sophomore fall. So then, like, I didn't get a name until my I joined the team sophomore spring. So I didn't get a name until my junior fall. And so I spent, like, a year being like, oh my God, what's it going to be? And then it was Pockets. Pockets named me. And then, like, I was like, oh, that's it. Like, no matter what, I knew no matter what it was going to be, I was going to be like,
no matter what you get, you're
like,
going to be like, oh, that's what it is? Okay.
The excitement's more in the anticipation. So, like...
Oh, yeah.
As cool and fun as nicknames are, it's not the end of the world, and you also don't really have to go by it anyway.
Like, that's something I wish Lehigh did. And actually, my senior year, like, very towards the end, our, like, club advisor, who's very, like, close with the Frisbee team, she retired, though. She was always like, yeah, you might want to make the names optional. Because, one, it could be seen as, like, a hazing thing. But, two, also just, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, names, they can mean very little, and they can mean a lot to people. So someone maybe just wants to stick with their own name. I remember, like, debating asking the captains, because I always went by, like, my actual last name in high school, and I was debating asking if I could just, like, skip naming and keep my name. But I'm glad I got and stuck with Pockets. But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They do tend to fit, and they are fun, and for the most part, it's, like, you know... In general, like, it's all in good fun and it's well-intentioned. I think you really have to be a jerk in order to get like something very crude. And I'm sure that anyone listening to us is probably a little bit more on the anxious and overly nice side than gonna be like a jerk right off the bat, like an overly confident, like, so. Yeah, that's our thoughts on nicknames. Anything else, Pockets, before we take a quick break and then do our little roster recap?
That's it for general advice. Just like, I'm excited that the college students get to play this semester, even if it's going to be a wacky, wild fall semester with nationals in December, which you and I want to go to.
I want to go.
Will be exciting.
Hopefully we'll get to go.
Hopefully we pay a little bit more attention to the college season than we actually did when we were in college, and can offer more tips, tricks, maybe talk about some teams.
TTT.
Oh,
all right.
All
right.
I'm well. All right. We're going to take another break. And then when we come back, we're going to wrap up the show with our favorite roster announcements for club so far. Because a lot of these came out late since the regular season does not matter. But yeah, we'll have that back after the break. All right, and we are back. Who knows if we had an ad? Because again, I'm angry at everyone that said they would give us an ad and then didn't.
Yes.
So, spite. Spite is what sponsors this podcast. Yeah. Definitely. So for our little outro, we wanted to do a topic that was brought up in the Ultiworld staff Discord. And they wanted someone to write an article on it. And Scotti and I said, nope, fuck it. We're going to take it for a podcast segment. And that is ranking the club roster announcements, not based on what looks like a cool team, but who has a cool looking announcement. But also from my choices, I picked like high level teams. So it's kind of also like who has a cool looking team. So, but I'm going to go first.
Yeah, take it away.
I thought AMP had a dope looking roster announcement. One, it's just very aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, I agree.
Two, Philadelphia. I have a very strong relationship with Philadelphia now, and I feel the need to rep them in everything except actual like professional sports, because I hate the Eagles, and I'm a Yankees fan, and I almost said and I am also a Trailblazers fan. I almost said we don't have a basketball team. Forgot about the 76ers. I'm also going to get so much hate for that. But yes, Philly Amp has a very cool looking roster. I think not last year, but 2 years ago, they went with the flamingo theme, and now they seem to be going with a crocodile theme. So I'm appreciating those like tropical animals that are definitely in no way native to Pennsylvania, but they're keeping that as their vibe.
And it is cool to see our friend's name on the roster.
Yes, friend and roommate. Yes. I live with someone on a high-level Ultimate team. I'm not high-level myself. I thought he was going to play Peep Show with me. And he's like, JK, I made AMP. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right, okay.
Guess I don't have a car buddy anymore. But no, congrats. His name's Pharaoh. If you are on AMP and you're listening to this, his real name's Ethan, and he told me no one calls him Ethan. Please call him Pharaoh. That's his Lehigh Ultimate name, and it's very cool, and I think he deserves to be called Pharaoh.
Yes, I agree. That's a cool name. Do you want me to go next?
I have four, and Scotti has one, so let me actually go. Because Scotti, like, again, Pockets is heaving the weight for this podcast right now.
Yes, you are. I don't go on Twitter that much. I've been getting sad every time I go on Twitter.
I am on Twitter too much. It is destroying my brain. So honestly, who's the winner here? You are living a balanced lifestyle and not are obsessed with social media. I am on my phone constantly and have devoted most of my life to a sport that will never pay me back for anything. So, on that note, I really liked Mischief's roster announcement. They did you should open it on the Google Doc. Yeah,
I do have it open.
They did the D&D lawful, neutral, chaotic, good versus evil alignment chart.
Yeah,
and I always love those charts. And then they're put different penguins on the chart, and they listed their teammates in their respective alignment. So I appreciate that. What do you identify as, Scotty?
I'm usually chaotic neutral.
Of course.
In most situations, or in most alignment charts. Although that's so funny that they have the penguin from Wallace and Gromit on here. That penguin exudes malice.
Yeah. And then they assigned one person to be pizza. I don't understand the inside joke there, but I love inside jokes. I would love to be a part of one day.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. But yeah, I love a little chart that I can also interact with. I identify as lawful good. I see they have five team members in lawful good. So I know there's at least 5 ultimate players out there that I could be friends with.
Perfect. Well, you can be friends with people not in the alignment. What are we?
No.
Okay. This is our breakup. Live on
You
camera.
heard it here first.
Okay. Scotti and Pockets are breaking up.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my personal favorite roster announcement was, I can't believe I haven't talked about this before on the podcast, was Moondog, of course. I am literally obsessed with their logo. I would die for the Moondog logo, the dog that is the Moondog for this team. I think it's so freaking cute. And I want a hat with do they put out a merch or an order for their their merch, their jerseys and stuff? And I was they're in Montana, I can't order something.
It's a cute logo,
it's so cute. I am obsessed with it, and I want a hat with a little embroidered Moondog on it. That's all I want. And I was when I first stumbled across them on Twitter, I was this is the coolest team name and logo I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I was maybe they're near me. And they're not at all. So that was very disappointing. But nonetheless, I appreciate them from afar. And finally, I found an opportunity to rave about my unhealthy obsession with this dog with the little astronaut helmet. I love it. I love it so much. Go Moondog. Whoever that is that created that, I'm gonna open mouth kiss you. I'm vaccinated. Don't worry.
Why? Why would you? Yeah. This is why you're chaotic and I'm not. Oh my god. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. We're moving on from that. I'm pasting in our little group chat because I didn't paste this in before. So please click on it, Scotty. If you're listening at home, please search on Instagram for the Toronto Sixers roster.
Yes. Got it.
Cool.
Oh.
Any listeners out there, the Toronto Sixers, they are replicating the Mean Girls burn book, which I just thought it was a really cool idea. They went all out. So if you scroll through the pages, they put, they have their returners on one page and they put a few burns in there for certain people. One says made out with a pickle. I think it's a joke on Mean Girls, one girl made out with a hot dog, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. They have their rookies, their practice players. And then they put burns for all of their captains. Hands so sweaty, she carries chalk in her purse. Dude, I am also so sweaty. I should start carrying chalk. Oh, and they also burned their coach, missing practice because of a disc golf tournament. But I just thought there was obviously a lot of effort put into this. It's very cute.
It's hilarious.
So I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
And then the last one I wanted to talk about, I don't know if this fully counts as a roster announcement because I was trying to scroll through on Twitter and I didn't see that they tweeted it out fully ever. Unless I'm missing something. But I went to the Space Heater website, So go to spaceheaterultimate.com. One, it looks like shit, so I automatically like it. It looks like it was made in 2005, which I think is their whole point. And then they they list their roster. One, they're being dinosaurs this year, which is great. 2021 dinos. And then they photoshopped each one of their players onto a dinosaur. One guy, this is like a real callback. So if anyone knows the YouTube, it's like a folder of videos on YouTube called Important Videos. Do you know it, Scotty?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yay!
Yeah. It's the Important Videos. Whatever. I watch that all the time sophomore year.
Yay!
And then I'm sorry for anyone that is like not between the ages of like 20 and 25. I don't even know who knows this video, but they had one guy on here that they took his body and photoshopped the Yee dinosaur.
This is so funny.
But it all looks like shit, but in the perfect way. One guy's Momo.
This is so funny.
And they put like little comments under each one. What's my favorite one?
Distance raptor divided by time raptor equals velociraptor. Nerd. That's,
Oh, I get it. It took me it took me too long to get that. But yeah, everyone go to spaceheaterultimate.com and check out their cute little roster. Yeah, those are my top 4. Should I call out the one that I thought was boring?
If you want.
Machine, they did a video, which like is a cool thing. They had like cool plays during it, and maybe it's just me, but like I kept zoning out during the video because I thought the song that they chose is just like so boring. So sorry, Machine. I wasn't a big fan. The video idea is cool, but I was just like, and also it's like hard to watch a video and like look for roster because you have to pay attention to the entire thing. And I can't pay attention to a 3-minute video anymore. No. I say as I record like an hour-long podcast every other week.
I expect people to listen to it. I feel that. Yeah. No, sure, I'll watch it later. But
you don't have to. You are definitely not invested in club this year, but I'm not invested in the men's division at all. So
yeah.
But yeah, those are my top 4. Scotty really loves Moondog.
I do.
She will be reaching out, asking them to relocate to New York City so she can join the team.
Yes.
And yeah.
And then they can come physically drag me from my apartment to practice a lot of Pockets instructions earlier this episode. And so we referenced things from previously.
Yeah, I think that wraps up the episode for today. We've gone through our picks. We've offered advice because we're pretending we know what we're doing.
Yes.
And we talked a lot about Pumpkin Spice Lattes, probably too much.
We did. And this week we do actually have a subs only. We planned it. We put time and effort into it. We are excited to share it. So subscribers, head over to the PS Zone, where I, due to popular demand, will be ranking sunscreens. I made a PowerPoint presentation about it. I will probably tweet the slides, but if you want the background about it, head over to the PS Zone. Check us out there.
Subscribe to Ultiworld to get this hot and asked for content. Asked for by at least 3 people. 3 whole people.
That's a lot.
Charlie, do you hear that? Charlie doesn't listen to these episodes. Charlie, we're getting you subscribers.
Perfect. Yes. So, you can catch up with us there. Otherwise, you can follow us on Twitter, laying it out with underscores between the words. Instagram, where we sometimes post with periods between the words. Or contact us, laying it out at ultiworld.com. Aside from that...
Or come to my house.
Sure.
Don't do that.
You can go hang out with Pockets. Aside from that, thanks so much for hanging out with us this week. I've been Scotti Dempsey.
I've been Chelsea Pockets.
And we'll catch you on the flip.
They say I'm